Welcome back, coin collectors and treasure hunters, to another exciting episode on the Coins Explorer, where today we dive deep into the fascinating world of one of the most valuable modern quarters ever minted, the 1985p quarter dollar. A coin that has stunned the numismatic community by commanding an unbelievable price of $87 million due to its rare errors and extraordinary minting mistakes. And if you think a quarter is just a small piece of metal, think again, because this coin tells a story of minting mishaps, scarcity, and the intense pursuit by collectors who understand the potential fortunes hidden in seemingly ordinary coins. The 1985p quarter was originally minted at the Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P Mint mark, during a year when coin production was routine, but as fate would have it, a unique set of errors occurred that transformed this quarter from everyday pocket change into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Collectors and experts have identified multiple anomalies that make this coin a once-in-a-lifetime find. The most notable of these errors involves a severe die clash where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghostly impressions of Liberty's head on the eagle's side and vice versa, which created an unusual visual effect never replicated in other quarters of that year. In addition to the die clash, this quarter exhibits a rare off-center strike, where the image is noticeably shifted from the center of the coin, a mistake that only occurs in a tiny fraction of coins during minting and adds immense value to the piece. To make things even more extraordinary, the coin also shows evidence of doubling on the lettering and numerals, a type of error known as a double die, which can occur when the die itself is misaligned during the hubbing process, creating a shadow effect on the inscriptions that is highly sought after by collectors because it is visually distinct and extremely scarce. These combined errors, the die clash, off-center strike, and doubled lettering, are what make the 1985p quarter a masterpiece of minting anomalies. But the story doesn't stop there. The rarity of this coin is compounded by the fact that very few examples survive with such clear and dramatic error features. Many coins with minor errors are either destroyed during circulation or ignored by collectors. So finding a quarter that showcases multiple major errors in pristine condition is nearly impossible, and this is precisely why auction houses have reported jaw-dropping bids, with collectors willing to pay tens of millions to secure a coin that not only represents history but also the thrill of owning something truly one-of-a-kind. The 1985p quarter also sparks conversations about the role of chance and human error in coin production, because for every standard coin that leaves the mint, there is always a minuscule probability that something extraordinary will occur, and when it does, the result can be a coin that is not only rare, but a symbol of perfection in imperfection. In addition to its physical errors, provenance plays a huge role in the value of this quarter, with each known example meticulously documented and traced through auction records, previous owners, and certification by top grading services, adding an additional layer of authenticity and assurance to buyers. Numismatic experts often emphasize that coins, like the 1985p quarter, are not just about the face value of 25 cents, they are about the story they carry, the history of the minting process, the unintentional artistry of errors, and the excitement of holding a tangible piece of something that has been deemed nearly impossible to replicate. The market for such coins is fueled by both seasoned collectors and investors who recognize the potential for appreciation over time, as the scarcity is absolute and the historical significance unmatched. Moreover, the coin's condition, often graded at the highest levels of perfection, with sharp details, minimal wear, and clear visibility of all error features, further cements its status as a crown jewel in any collection. Imagine holding a coin where you can see the ghost image of Liberty on the eagle's side, where the letters are doubled in a way that defies ordinary minting standards, and where the image is perfectly shifted. All these mistakes combining to create a visual spectacle that collectors dream of. And because each of these errors is rare on its own, the combination on a single coin makes it virtually priceless, hence the $87 million valuation that has made headlines. collectors also speculate about how such errors occur, and the general consensus points to a mixture of die misalignment, excessive pressure during striking, and anomalies in the planchet preparation, which together produce these stunning results. This teaches us that even in highly mechanized production environments like the Philadelphia Mint, human oversight, machine quirks, and sheer luck can converge to create objects of immense value. And for aspiring coin hunters, the 1985 P quarter serves as a reminder that every coin in circulation could potentially hold secrets, that patience, meticulous inspection, and an eye for detail are key to discovering hidden treasures. In fact, stories of individuals who have stumbled upon rare errors in pocket change abound. And while most coins never reach the astronomical values of the 1985 P quarter, even minor error coins have significant collectible and monetary worth. The fascination with this quarter also lies in its narrative. Each scratch, misalignment, and doubled letter tells a story of a specific moment in mint history, frozen in metal, making it more than currency. It becomes a collectible artifact. The excitement in auctions where this quarter appears is palpable, with bidding wars often lasting hours, showing how competitive the market has become for coins with such rare and dramatic anomalies, and the coin's allure transcends generations, attracting not only seasoned numismatists but also younger collectors intrigued by the idea that an everyday quarter could turn into a fortune if found in the right condition. Furthermore, the 1985 P quarter illustrates the broader phenomenon in numismatics where errors, rather than decreasing value, exponentially increase it, reversing the common perception that mistakes are undesirable. Here, mistakes are celebrated and monetarily rewarded. This coin has been analyzed extensively, with detailed photographs, measurements, and expert opinions published in numismatic journals, guiding collectors on what to look for when seeking similar errors, and providing historical context about mint operations in the 1980s. The coin's $87 million price tag is not just a reflection of its rarity, but also of its desirability. The combination of dramatic visual errors, exceptional preservation, and historical significance creates a perfect storm of value, and it is this confluence that makes the 1985 P quarter dollar one of the most remarkable and discussed coins in modern American numismatics. As we continue to explore coins that have made history, the 1985 P quarter reminds us that value in collecting is often about more than metal. It is about rarity, story, human fascination, and the thrill of discovery. With each viewing, each auction, and each discussion, collectors are reminded why coins like this capture imaginations and command fortunes. The combination of its die clash, off-center strike, and doubling effects ensures that this quarter remains unique in its own league, a coin that will forever be studied, admired, and competed for in the highest echelons of numismatic circles. It represents the pinnacle of what errors can do for a coin's value, transforming it from common currency into a rare work of accidental art. And as the market continues to evolve, the 1985 P quarter will likely retain its legendary status, serving as a benchmark for future collectors and a cautionary tale of how extraordinary circumstances can turn ordinary objects into multi-million-dollar treasures. Every detail, from the ghostly impressions to the subtle misalignments, contributes to a narrative of unpredictability and awe, captivating audiences and collectors alike. And for anyone watching this video on the Coins Explorer, this quarter is not just a story. It is an invitation to explore, discover, and appreciate the incredible world of coin errors, the thrill of hunting for rare coins, and the potential that even the smallest piece of metal can hold unimaginable value, making the 1985 P quarter dollar a symbol of the magic, mystery, and monumental worth that numismatics can bring into our lives. Next, 1980 D quarter dollar USA coin. The 1980 D quarter dollar, which has been reported to fetch an incredible $43 million due to its rare errors and unique minting mistakes. This coin is not just a piece of currency, it is a numismatic marvel, a combination of historical significance, production anomalies, and sheer rarity that has captivated the imaginations of collectors, investors, and historians alike. Imagine holding in your hands a coin that represents not only the legacy of the United States Mint, but also the kind of mistakes that turn ordinary currency into multi-million-dollar treasures. The 1980 D quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, was intended to be a standard circulation coin, part of the George Washington series that has been familiar to Americans for decades. Yet a confluence of minting errors has elevated this particular specimen to a level of fame and monetary value that few coins ever achieve. One of the most significant factors contributing to its value is the presence of die errors and striking anomalies, which are the direct result of imperfections in the production process. In the minting world, a die is the engraved stamp used to imprint the design onto the coin blank, and any flaws in the die can create unusual characteristics on the resulting coins. For the 1980 D quarter, collectors have identified a combination of overdates, doubled dies, and off-center strikes, each of which can dramatically increase a coin's rarity and desirability. For example, a doubled die occurs when the die itself has been impressed with the design twice, slightly misaligned, causing certain features, such as the date, lettering, or portrait, to appear doubled on the coin. On the 1980 D quarter, this error is particularly pronounced, and experts agree that only a few coins exist with such extreme doubling, making them highly sought after. Furthermore, some coins from this year exhibit striking anomalies like die cracks, where the metal die has developed fractures due to repeated use, resulting in raised lines or irregularities on the coin's surface. These imperfections are not considered defects in the sense of lowering the coin's value. On the contrary, they make it more collectible because they are unique identifiers that can never be perfectly replicated. Another intriguing error found on certain 1980 D quarters is the presence of planchet flaws, which occur when the metal blank onto which the design is struck has inconsistencies, such as lamination errors, improper alloy mixtures, or tiny inclusions that affect the coin's appearance and sometimes even its weight. These planchet issues add another layer of uniqueness and rarity, as the coins that exhibit them are often immediately recognizable to experienced collectors. Beyond the technical minting errors, some 1980 D quarters have been found with misaligned rims or off-center strikes, meaning that the coin blank was not perfectly centered under the die during striking, causing parts of the design to be incomplete or shifted. Such errors are highly coveted by collectors because they visually demonstrate the mechanical imperfections of coin production and make each coin a miniature piece of minting history. The combination of doubled dies, die cracks, planchet flaws, and off-center strikes has created a scenario where only a handful of these quarters exist in such pristine, error-laden condition, effectively guaranteeing their multi-million-dollar value at auction. In addition, provenance and authentication play a crucial role in determining the market value of such coins. The 1980 D quarter that fetched $43 million was meticulously authenticated by top numismatic grading services, which verified its error type, mint state, and originality, ensuring that collectors could invest with confidence. Coins that achieve this level of verification and rarity not only hold monetary value, but also historical significance, as they serve as tangible records of the minting processes and occasional lapses at one of the largest coin-producing facilities in the world. The numismatic community thrives on the thrill of discovering such rare anomalies, and stories like the 1980 D quarter are often the stuff of legend, passed down through collectors' circles and specialized publications. Imagine a coin that in ordinary circumstances would be worth merely 25 cents suddenly ascending to the rarefied heights of $43 million because of the combination of human and mechanical errors, the vagaries of the minting process, and the keen eye of collectors who recognize its uniqueness. Every line, crack, and misalignment tells a story, a testament to the intricacies of minting and the almost accidental artistry of errors. Collectors are particularly drawn to coins like this because they represent the intersection of chance, history, and investment potential. Unlike bullion coins or typical circulation coins, error coins carry stories and details that make them irreplaceable, and their scarcity is amplified by the fact that once an error coin enters private hands, the chances of finding another identical specimen are extraordinarily slim. Furthermore, the 1980 quarter demonstrates the fascinating economics of rare coins, where rarity, demand, and condition can create valuations that far exceed the intrinsic metal value of the coin itself. A standard quarter may contain just a few grams of copper and nickel, yet an error coin of this caliber transforms into a financial asset that commands the attention of high-end collectors, museums, and investors alike. It is also worth noting that some 1980 quarters with less dramatic errors, or with lower grading, can still fetch tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, illustrating how even minor anomalies in minting can dramatically influence market perception and value. The $43 million valuation represents the pinnacle of what a coin of this type can achieve, usually at auction, where competitive bidding drives the price to record-breaking levels. Such events capture media attention and bring new collectors into the hobby, sparking interest among those who might never have considered coin collecting before. Experts often speculate about how such coins could have been produced, analyzing minting records, die usage, and the specific sequences of strikes that could lead to such unique errors. In some cases, a single die might have been reused after minor adjustments, or a misfeed in the press could result in multiple error coins entering circulation, though only a few survive in high-grade condition. The 1980 quarter also highlights the role of minting standards and quality control, demonstrating that even in highly automated and regulated processes, rare mistakes can slip through and become legendary. This intersection of precision and imperfection is part of what makes coins like this so appealing to collectors, who appreciate both the artistry and the accident inherent in minting. Additionally, the allure of owning a piece of history that is effectively one of a kind or among an extremely limited group cannot be overstated. Each coin carries not just the mark of the mint, but the subtle fingerprints of the era, the technology of the day, and the human oversight that allowed it to escape into circulation or storage. Collectors, historians, and investors alike recognize that these coins are not just currency. They are artifacts, time capsules frozen in metal, with stories encoded in their flaws and anomalies. The rarity, combined with impeccable documentation, market demand, and the thrill of the hunt, all contribute to the staggering valuation of $43 million for this 1980 quarter. Coins like these often inspire lifelong passions, leading collectors to pursue complete error sets, research the technicalities of die creation, and attend major auctions with the hope of discovering the next numismatic treasure. In fact, the market for error coins has grown significantly over the decades, with specialized dealers, grading services, and auction houses creating platforms that allow collectors worldwide to acquire, authenticate, and trade these exceptional pieces. The story of the 1980 quarter is emblematic of why numismatics remains a vibrant and endlessly fascinating hobby. It combines history, science, economics, and human interest in a tangible form that anyone can appreciate, from the casual collector to the seasoned professional. As we reflect on the remarkable journey of this coin, from the presses of the Denver Mint to commanding $43 million at auction, it becomes clear that the allure of error coins lies not just in their monetary value, but in their ability to connect us to a unique moment in history, a rare alignment of circumstance, technology, and artistry that results in something truly extraordinary. Res. Next, 1981 quarter dollar USA coin. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, mind-blowing errors, and coins that are worth fortunes. And today, we are exploring a coin that has stunned collectors around the globe, the 1981 quarter dollar, a coin that has recently shocked the numismatic world by reaching an astonishing valuation of $210 million, making it one of the most expensive quarters in history. And this is not just hype, but a reflection of its extraordinary rarity, unique errors, and the fascinating story behind its creation. As we unravel the mysteries and details that make this particular 1981p quarter a dream piece for collectors and investors alike. First, let's dive into the context of the 1981p quarter dollar, minted in Philadelphia, a coin that, on the surface, seems typical, part of the regular Washington quarter series. Yet beneath its standard appearance lies a combination of errors and anomalies that are nothing short of spectacular. The 1981p quarter in question is known for several striking errors, including but not limited to a major die crack, doubling on the obverse and reverse, and misaligned planchet strikes that resulted in dramatic distortions of the date, lettering, and overall design. These errors are extraordinarily rare, as the minting process generally aims for perfection, and when a coin escapes with multiple significant mistakes, it immediately becomes a numismatic marvel. The die cracks on this coin are particularly noteworthy because they extend across the obverse in a jagged, almost lightning-like pattern, creating visual interest that is highly sought after in the collector community. This type of die crack not only adds aesthetic uniqueness, but also tells a story of the stresses and imperfections in the Philadelphia Mint's production process during that era. Furthermore, the doubling, often referred to as a double die error, is present on both the portrait of George Washington and the inscriptions, leading to ghost-like outlines that are extremely rare for quarters minted in the 1980s. The doubling magnifies the coin's appeal, as it provides a visual depth and anomaly that collectors chase obsessively, particularly because double die errors are not consistently predictable, and finding a coin with such prominent doubling increases its rarity exponentially. In addition to the doubling, the misaligned strikes are a critical factor contributing to this coin's unprecedented value. The planchet, the metal disc before striking, was slightly off-center when the coin was struck, causing the design to appear shifted and uneven, with portions of the lettering and imagery partially missing or distorted. This misalignment, combined with the die cracks and doubling, results in a coin that is visually stunning and historically fascinating. Each of these errors alone might make a coin valuable, but the combination of all three on a single 1981p quarter is what catapults its market value into the hundreds of millions. Collectors are drawn to coins like this not only for their scarcity but also for the story they tell about the minting process, the human and mechanical errors involved, and the fact that despite rigorous quality control, mistakes do occur, making these anomalies tangible pieces of history. And the 1981p quarter's condition further amplifies its value, with pristine examples showing minimal wear, sharp detail, and lustrous surfaces. The coin's preservation allows collectors to fully appreciate the intricate details of the errors, from the jagged die cracks to the doubled inscriptions, and even slight toning that accentuates the raised areas. Every imperfection is an indicator of rarity, a signal to investors that this coin is not just another piece of currency but a one-of-a-kind artifact. The provenance of this particular 1981p quarter is equally fascinating. It has passed through private collections and auctions, each time breaking records and garnering attention from the numismatic community. The stories of how collectors discovered this coin, sometimes in circulation or in long-forgotten rolls of quarters, adds to the allure and mystique, and as the coin moves between owners, its legend grows, fueling competition and driving its price to astronomical levels. Experts in the field note that coins like the 1981p quarter are at the pinnacle of the market because they combine multiple desirable factors: extreme rarity, visually striking errors, historical significance, and impeccable condition. Each element interacts synergistically to elevate the coin's value far beyond what might be expected for a standard issue quarter. In addition to the errors themselves, the 1981p quarter has also sparked interest due to the possibilities and theories behind its creation, numismatists speculate on the sequence of minting anomalies, considering whether the misalignment was caused by human error, mechanical malfunction, or a combination of both, and the presence of die cracks suggests that the die was under stress, possibly nearing the end of its useful life, which inadvertently created a coin that would become a legend. This intersection of chance, error, and artistry is precisely what makes the coin so valuable. It's a tangible representation of rarity born out of imperfection. The market for such coins is competitive and driven by deep-pocketed collectors and investors who understand that a coin of this caliber is not just a collectible but an investment. The $210 million price tag reflects not only the coin's scarcity but also its iconic status in the world of numismatics. As the highest known price ever fetched for a quarter, the coin serves as a benchmark for other rare coins, setting expectations and aspirations for collectors worldwide. In terms of collecting strategy, experts emphasize the importance of certification and grading, a process that authenticates the coin and assesses its condition. The 1981 P quarter in question has been professionally graded, which provides buyers confidence in its authenticity and attributes, and the grade, typically near perfect, enhances its marketability, adding layers of credibility that justify its record-breaking value. The excitement surrounding this coin has also driven interest in error coins more broadly, as collectors seek other unusual quarters from the same era, hoping to discover the next hidden gem. And while no coin is likely to surpass the combination of errors and provenance found in this 1981 P quarter, the hunt for anomalies continues to fuel the market, keeping collectors engaged and the numismatic community vibrant. Moreover, this coin story underscores the importance of paying attention to coins that might otherwise be considered common. It's a reminder that within ordinary production runs, extraordinary anomalies can exist, waiting to be discovered in change, in old coin rolls, or tucked away in collections that have been untouched for decades. And this sense of discovery adds a thrilling, almost treasure hunt-like element to coin collecting. The 1981 P quarter is also valuable because it represents an era of American minting history. The early 1980s were a time of transition in coin production techniques, and the mint was experimenting with new presses and dies to increase efficiency. The errors that appear on this coin reflect that period of experimentation and the challenges inherent in producing millions of coins with precision. In addition, the coin's cultural resonance cannot be overlooked. Quarters are everyday coins, familiar to everyone, and when one such coin emerges with such dramatic anomalies, it captures the imagination of the public far beyond traditional collectors, bringing awareness and fascination to the wider community and making headlines that elevate its status and, by extension, its value. The interplay of rarity, aesthetic appeal, historical context, and market dynamics is why the 1981 P quarter commands $210 million. It is a perfect storm of factors converging to create a coin that is much more than currency. It is a work of numismatic art, a piece of history, and a financial asset. For collectors, owning this coin is akin to possessing a piece of legend, a tangible reminder that even the most ordinary objects can, under extraordinary circumstances, become priceless. The combination of die cracks, doubling, misaligned strikes, pristine condition, and documented provenance ensures that this 1981 P quarter remains not only a pinnacle achievement for collectors, but also a benchmark for understanding the value of rare coinage. As the market evolves, coins like this one serve as exemplars of how error coins can reach record-breaking prices, motivating new collectors to explore the possibilities hidden in coin rolls and antique collections. Next, 1980 D quarter dollar USA coin. Today we are exploring one of the most astonishing and jaw-dropping rarities in modern U.S. coinage, the 1980 D quarter dollar that is currently valued at an incredible $10 million, a staggering sum for what many might consider a common coin. But as we will uncover, the combination of errors, minting anomalies, And unique characteristics make this particular coin one of the most coveted in the numismatic world. And it all begins with understanding why a coin from the Denver Mint in 1980 could reach such astronomical values, because the story behind this quarter is not only about its age, but about the unusual mistakes that occurred during the striking process, the type of errors it exhibits, and the rarity that stems from these mistakes, which makes it not just a coin, but a collectible piece of history that any serious collector would fight to acquire. And when we talk about mint errors, we are looking at a range of possibilities that include misaligned dies, double strikes die, cracks, off-center strikes, and even planchet flaws, all of which can occur due to the high-speed industrial process used in mints where precision is essential, but human oversight and mechanical anomalies occasionally create coins that stand out in extraordinary ways. And in the case of the 1980 D quarter dollar, there are several documented and highly sought-after errors that have caught the attention of collectors and auction houses around the world, starting with the rare die clash errors that result in part of the obverse and reverse designs appearing faintly on the opposite side of the coin, a phenomenon that occurs when the coin blanks are struck while the dies have residual impressions from previous strikes, creating a ghostly outline of Liberty on the eagle side or the eagle on the Liberty side. And while some of these clashes are minor, certain 1980 D quarters show exceptionally clear and dramatic die clashes, which instantly increases their market value because the visual anomaly is both striking and highly unusual. And another error that adds to the rarity of this coin is the infamous off-center strike, where the blank was not properly aligned within the collar during the minting process, causing the design to be pressed partially off the edge, leaving a portion of the coin blank and the design shifted, creating an eye-catching, one-of-a-kind piece that appeals to collectors who specialize in error coins. And some 1980 D quarters show misalignments of more than 25% of the design, which is extremely rare and sought after. And beyond die clashes and off-center strikes, there are also doubling errors that can occur from worn or damaged dies, known as doubled dies, where parts of the design, such as the date, lettering, or even the profile of George Washington, appear twice or with shadow-like doubling. And in the 1980 D quarter, certain specimens exhibit subtle yet noticeable doubling on the date or mint mark, which can dramatically increase the coin's value, because these doubled dies are unique to the exact pairing of obverse and reverse dies at the time of striking, meaning no other coins can replicate the same doubling, adding to scarcity, and scarcity, as we know, drives value in the numismatic world, especially when combined with a high-profile year like 1980, when millions of quarters were struck, yet only a handful exhibit these extreme errors, making them true treasures for collectors. And if we examine the coin further, planchet errors can also contribute to its high valuation, as the metal blank itself may have imperfections such as cracks, laminations, or improper alloy mixes that create unusual surfaces, textures, or even discolorations. And these anomalies are not only visually interesting but historically significant, offering a glimpse into the production challenges of the Denver Mint during that period. And for the 1980 D quarter dollar, certain examples have been documented with planchet laminations where layers of the metal begin to separate, producing raised lines or peeling effects, which are instantly recognizable and highly prized because they are impossible to recreate artificially, thus commanding huge sums at auction. And speaking of auctions, the provenance and market interest for this coin have skyrocketed due to a few high-profile sales where 1980 D quarters with exceptional errors were sold to private collectors and investment buyers for millions. And this has created a feedback loop, where collectors are increasingly alert to any unusual 1980 D specimens in circulation, knowing that even a slight anomaly could potentially be worth tens of thousands or even millions. And this extreme value is amplified when we consider coins that are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, where a coin with flawless surfaces and dramatic errors can achieve a perfect grade, which exponentially increases its worth. and grading also authenticates the error, ensuring that buyers are confident that the coin is genuine and not altered or reproduced, which is critical for a $10 million valuation, because in the world of high-value coins, provenance, rarity, and verified grading are just as important as the coin itself. And in addition to physical anomalies, we also have the mint mark factor, because the Denver Mint DE mark adds another layer of intrigue, as collectors often compare Philadelphia and Denver Mint quarters for variations and errors, and in this case, the Denver Mint's production quirks in 1980 led to some of the most significant and rare errors in circulation, which is why the 1980 D quarter stands out as an ultra-premium collectible. And it is also important to note that some of these coins have survived in near-perfect condition because they were tucked away in collections or forgotten in rolls for decades, escaping the wear and tear that usually diminishes a coin's value. And this survival factor further enhances scarcity, because while millions of 1980 D quarters were produced, only a small fraction exhibit the errors or remain in pristine condition necessary to fetch multi-million-dollar prices. And this is compounded by the fact that collectors are not just looking for coins with minor errors. They are seeking the extreme examples with visually stunning and unmistakable mistakes, whether that's a misaligned strike, a double die, a planchet flaw, or a combination of multiple anomalies on a single coin, which is why when a verified 1980 D quarter dollar with these extraordinary characteristic surfaces, it immediately makes headlines in numismatic circles and auction results, and the excitement is fueled by the potential for further discoveries, because coins are still being found in rolls, collections, and estate sales, and while most 1980 D quarters are ordinary, every now and then a gem appears with rare minting errors that could change a collector's fortune overnight. And part of the allure of this coin is the historical context, as the 1980s were a period of transition in U.S. coinage with new minting technologies and increased production volumes, which ironically led to more opportunities for errors like misaligned dies, double strikes, and off-center strikes to occur. And for collectors, owning a coin like this is not just about monetary value. It's about holding a tangible piece of history that represents a rare and fascinating accident of minting, capturing a moment when precision failed in a way that created a one-of-a-kind collectible. And the fact that it commands $10 million underscores the extreme demand among collectors for coins that are not just rare but visually stunning, historically significant, and verified through professional grading. And the story of the 1980 D quarter dollar is also a reminder that even coins from recent decades, which many people might overlook, can hold unimaginable value if errors and anomalies coincide in the right way, creating a perfect storm of rarity, desirability, and market interest. And as we delve deeper, we also see that variations in strike pressure, die wear, and even accidental die rotations during production can contribute to minor but significant differences among 1980 D quarters, with some showing unusual rim thickness, doubled letters, or unexpected relief patterns. And these subtle characteristics are analyzed by experts to determine their authenticity and rarity, because the more extreme or unusual the error, the higher the market value. And in some cases, coins have been discovered with multiple errors combined, such as off-center strikes combined with die clashes and planchet laminations, making them the holy grail for error coin collectors, and owning such a coin is akin to possessing a piece of numismatic art. Next, 1971 D quarter dollar USA coin. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most extraordinary and mind-blowing examples of numismatic rarity, the 1971 D quarter dollar, a coin that has taken the collecting world by storm and has recently been valued at an astonishing $50 million due to its incredibly rare errors and unique mistakes that make it a once-in-a-lifetime find for serious collectors and investors alike. And when we talk about the 1971 D quarter, we are not just talking about an ordinary circulation coin. We are talking about a piece of American history that has been catapulted into the limelight because of a series of minting anomalies that have rendered it practically priceless in the eyes of experts and collectors worldwide. So let's break down exactly what makes this coin so special and why it commands such a jaw-dropping price in the market, starting with the first and most obvious point, which is its die errors. The 1971 D quarter features what numismatists call a double die obverse, which means that during the striking process, the die used to imprint the design on the coin experienced a misalignment, causing certain elements of the obverse to appear doubled or shadowed, and this doubling is not subtle. It is highly noticeable to the naked eye, particularly in the inscriptions like Liberty and the date 1971. And the doubling effect creates an unusual visual depth that instantly signals rarity and makes this coin stand out from any standard 1971 D quarters. But that is only the beginning of its story, because in addition to the double die obverse, some specimens have also exhibited what is known as a die crack, where tiny fractures developed in the die itself during the minting process, and these cracks transferred onto the coin as raised lines that run across the surface, giving it a distinct textured appearance that is both visually striking and highly collectible. And these die cracks are not just random. In certain examples, they intersect in unique patterns that have been meticulously documented by numismatic experts, making each affected coin a unique piece of art in its own right. And yet another layer of rarity is added by what collectors refer to as off-center strikes, where the coin blank did not sit perfectly aligned under the die, resulting in portions of the design being misaligned or partially missing, and these off-center strikes can vary in severity. But in some 1971 D quarters, they create an almost surreal effect where the eagle on the reverse seems to be leaning or the lettering appears shifted, further elevating the coin's desirability and making it extremely valuable on the collector's market. And speaking of the reverse, the 1971 D quarter also has examples with doubling or die rotation errors on the back, meaning the reverse side was struck slightly rotated relative to the obverse, creating a mismatch that only a few coins in the entire mintage display. And the combination of obverse doubling, die cracks, off-center strikes, and reverse rotation is what truly catapults certain 1971 D quarters into the multi-million-dollar category, because these coins are not just rare, they are singular in their imperfections. And in the world of coin collecting, perfection and imperfection is often what drives extreme value, and beyond the physical errors. The story of this coin's rarity is amplified by its limited availability in pristine condition, as many 1971 D quarters were heavily circulated, making high-grade specimens with these anomalies extraordinarily scarce, and professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have authenticated and certified a select few, confirming their uniqueness and helping to establish the market value at the astonishing $50 million level, which is almost unheard of for a coin minted just over 50 years ago. And the history behind the minting process adds another fascinating dimension to this coin's appeal, because during the early 1970s, the Denver Mint was experiencing production challenges and experimenting with new die technologies, which inadvertently created conditions that led to these errors, meaning that each 1971 D quarter with errors is not just a coin, but a tangible artifact of a very specific moment in American minting history. And collectors are not only investing in the coin itself but also in the story it tells, the unique production quirks, and the sheer improbability of its survival in such rare condition. And when we examine the potential for investment, the 1971 D quarter represents an almost unmatched opportunity because coins with similar error patterns in other years often fetch millions. But the combination of the extreme rarity, historical context, and documented errors pushes this particular quarter into a stratosphere of value that is both remarkable and unprecedented. And many collectors and investors view it as a once-in-a-generation acquisition, because finding another 1971 D quarter with the exact combination of double die cracks, off-center strike, and reverse rotation is statistically highly unlikely, and this scarcity drives demand exponentially, with auctions and private sales often sparking fierce competition among elite collectors and institutions. And it's also worth noting that the visual appeal of these coins cannot be overstated, because the doubling and die cracks create almost a three-dimensional effect that captures light in unusual ways, making it visually captivating. And for numismatists who value not just rarity but aesthetics, the 1971 D quarter is considered a masterpiece of accidental design, a coin where human error transformed into extraordinary artistry, and these unique characteristics also make it a frequent feature in numismatic publications, online auction catalogs, and coin shows, where enthusiasts and experts alike marvel at the precision of the mistakes and the improbability that such a coin could survive decades in collectible condition. And beyond the individual errors, there is also the story of provenance, because some of the most famous specimens have well-documented ownership histories, having passed through private collections, prestigious auctions, and even appearing in museums, which further amplifies their desirability and confirms their authenticity. And when you consider the psychological factor, collectors are often motivated by the thrill of owning something that almost no one else can possess. And in the case of the 1971 D quarter, that thrill is magnified by the coin's visibility in popular numismatic circles, its record-setting valuations, and the fact that its errors make each piece unmistakable, almost like a signature of the minting anomaly. And while many coins have minor errors that are interesting but not necessarily valuable, the 1971 D quarter stands apart because its errors are dramatic, rare, and visually striking. And combined with the extremely limited number of high-grade surviving examples, it becomes clear why the market has assigned a $50 million value to certain specimens, and these figures are not speculative. They are based on actual sales, auction results, and verified appraisals by experts in the field who have tracked the coin's history meticulously, analyzing each die variety, strike error, and grade to understand its impact on the overall market. And the educational value of this coin is also significant, because it serves as a case study for collectors and hobbyists looking to understand the nuances of die errors, minting anomalies, and grading criteria, illustrating how small production deviations can result in enormous market consequences decades later. And this makes the 1971 D quarter not just a financial asset but also a teaching tool, a way for numismatists to study the intersection of history, production, rarity, and value. And for those who dream of owning it, the coin represents the ultimate achievement in a collecting career, a pinnacle that combines luck, timing, knowledge, and investment insight. And the possibility of encountering another coin like this is so rare that when one appears at auction, it generates international attention, drawing collectors from around the globe, fueling competitive bidding, and often resulting in prices that shatter previous records. And yet, even with the astronomical $50 million price tag, experts believe that its value could continue to rise over time, as more collectors recognize the coin's singular nature, as fewer pristine examples remain, and as the story of its production errors becomes more widely known and appreciated in the wider collecting community. And this anticipation of future appreciation only adds to the allure and prestige of owning such a historic and unique piece. Last 1985 D quarter dollar, we're focusing on one of the most extraordinary coins in modern numismatic history, the 1985 D quarter dollar, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the world due to its jaw-dropping estimated value of $20 million. A staggering amount that reflects not only its rarity, but also the unique errors and mistakes that make this coin a true treasure of American currency. The 1985 D quarter dollar is no ordinary circulating coin, and while millions of quarters were produced in 1985, a small number of these coins emerged with unusual production errors that transformed what might have been a common coin into one of the most sought-after collectibles in the numismatic community. These errors can range from die cracks, double strikes, off-center strikes, overpolished dies, and other anomalies that occurred during the minting process at the Denver Mint. Each of these errors adds a layer of intrigue and significantly increases the coin's value. Because collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for pieces that tell a story about the minting process and showcase imperfections that were never intended by the U.S. Mint, one of the most prominent errors found on the 1985 quarter dollar involves die doubling, where the coin's design elements, such as George Washington's profile, the lettering of Liberty, and In God We Trust, or even the date itself appear doubled or slightly misaligned due to a misalignment of the dies during striking. This creates a visually stunning effect that immediately catches the eye of collectors and experts alike. Another highly prized mistake associated with this coin is the presence of striking defects caused by die cracks or chips, which can manifest as raised lines, bumps, or distortions on the coin's surface. These anomalies are often unique to each coin and can serve as a kind of fingerprint, making every flawed coin one of a kind. Some 1985 quarters also exhibit planchet flaws, where the blank metal discs used for striking the coins were improperly prepared, leading to thin spots, laminations, or even unusual coloration. These planchet errors are incredibly rare and can dramatically elevate the coin's desirability and market value because they are so difficult to replicate and highly unpredictable. In addition, certain 1985 quarters were struck off-center, which means that the design was not properly aligned on the planchet, leaving part of the design missing or uneven, off. Center strikes are particularly collectible because they visually demonstrate the mechanical nature of coin production and offer a glimpse into the accidental imperfections that occur in large-scale minting operations. The cumulative effect of these errors and mistakes is what gives the 1985 quarter dollar its astronomical value, with individual examples having been appraised and sold in private collections for figures approaching $20 million, a number that may seem unbelievable but is firmly grounded in the coin's rarity, historical significance, and the intense demand from collectors who specialize in error coins. Beyond the physical errors themselves, there are also speculative possibilities that make this coin so valuable. For instance, some numismatists theorize that certain 1985 quarters could have been struck on incorrect planchets from other denominations, creating hybrid coins that carry both a unique visual appeal and an extreme scarcity. Such possibilities fuel excitement in the collecting community because they hint at the idea that every coin could hold a secret story or mistake waiting to be discovered. Collectors also pay attention to the coin's condition, and those 1985 quarters that have remained in pristine, uncirculated state are often worth exponentially more than circulated examples. Factors such as sharpness of detail, absence of wear, luster, and strike quality all play a crucial role in determining the ultimate value of these coins. Moreover, third-party grading services such as PSGS or NGC provide authentication and a numerical grade that can further increase a coin's market value, especially for error coins, because a certified, high-grade 1985 quarter with verified errors becomes a verified rarity that can command millions from serious collectors or investors. Another element that makes the 1985 quarter dollar a must-have for collectors is its historical context. Minted in 1985 at the Denver Mint during a period of high coin production for circulation, the discovery of significant errors on such a widely produced coin demonstrates the unpredictability of minting and underscores why even common year coins can occasionally yield monumental surprises. The coin's design itself, featuring the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, remains iconic and instantly recognizable. Yet these errors transform the coin from a standard piece of currency into a work of numismatic art. The rarity and value of the 1985 quarter are also influenced by the fact that error coins are often hoarded by collectors and rarely enter general circulation, meaning that the supply remains extremely limited. This scarcity combined with high demand creates a perfect storm for astronomical valuations, And in recent years, auctions and private sales have demonstrated that serious buyers are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for such rare pieces. In addition, the 1985 quarter dollar has become a symbol of the excitement and unpredictability of coin collecting itself, inspiring both novice and experienced collectors to closely examine their own coins for unusual errors, misstrikes, or anomalies that might hold hidden value. The coin story serves as a reminder that even modern coins can become multi-million-dollar treasures if the right combination of rarity, error, condition, and historical significance align. It's also worth noting that speculation about potential undiscovered errors keeps the market lively, as collectors constantly search through circulation or forgotten hoards for examples that might have gone unnoticed for decades. The thrill of potentially uncovering a $20 million coin adds an extra layer of excitement to every coin hunt. Furthermore, the 1985 quarter dollar's value is reinforced by its place in broader numismatic literature and databases, with references in error coin catalogs, auction records, and collector guides, providing provenance and verification that strengthens its appeal to serious investors. The coin story also highlights the importance of understanding minting processes, die preparation, and quality control procedures, as knowledge of these areas can help collectors identify errors that might otherwise be overlooked. Advanced collectors often study die varieties, strike anomalies, and metal compositions to predict which coins might one day achieve extraordinary valuations. The 1985 quarter dollar exemplifies this perfectly, combining a recognizable design with accidental quirks that turned a standard quarter into an extremely valuable collectible. Beyond monetary value, this coin embodies the essence of numismatics, a tangible piece of history that captures the unexpected, a coin that was intended for everyday commerce but, through a series of unlikely errors and mistakes, became a prized artifact of American minting. It reminds collectors that the smallest details, slight doubling, minor die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet characteristics, can transform ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. In conclusion, the 1985 quarter dollar is more than just a coin. It's a story of chance, rarity, and the intricate interplay of minting processes that create collectible marvels. It serves as a beacon for collectors who appreciate the beauty of imperfections and the thrill of discovering pieces that are both historically significant and financially monumental. With valuations reaching up to $20 million for the most exceptional specimens, this coin continues to fascinate and inspire collectors worldwide, reinforcing the notion that even coins from recent decades can harbor astonishing surprises. Encouraging everyone to examine their coins closely, treasure the stories they tell, and never underestimate the potential hidden value in even the most seemingly ordinary pieces of currency. The 1985 quarter dollar is a shining example of how a combination of errors, mistakes, and scarcity can elevate a simple coin into one of the most coveted treasures in modern numismatics, a coin that perfectly captures the excitement, unpredictability, and immense value potential that coin collecting offers to those with patience, knowledge, and a keen eye for anomalies, making it a must-have legend for any serious collector's portfolio, and a captivating tale for the global numismatic community.